If you're a tailor or a fashion designer, I want you to come close because I want to teach you how to price your business correctly. I've seen so many tailors that have been sewing for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and they can't even make anything out of it. So if you're a tailor or a designer and you've been sewing and you have not been seeing a substantial amount of profit, then this particular video is for you. Now, I am going to start by breaking down the different type of things that you're actually supposed to factor into your pricing before you actually give out any price to any client. Now, the number one is what we call material cost. Material cost is like cost of your fabrics, the cost of the zip, the cost of the thread that you bought for making a cloth. Material cost is usually where most people get it wrong. They factor the materials that they bought, the fabric, the zip, the thread, and all of that, and then they stop there. What they do is, let's say for example, the cost of everything they bought is like 15,000, then they will now add extra 10,000, and then they give the price to the clients, and that is so wrong. So the number one cost that you're actually supposed to factor into your pricing is material cost. This is your fabric cost and all of that. Now, the number two is what I call the indirect cost. Indirect cost is your rent. Indirect cost is your electricity bill. Indirect cost is your shop maintenance, your house maintenance, whether you're working from a fashion house or from home. Everly someone is paying rent, you are paying for electricity, you are paying for other things. Now, the third one is what we call labor cost. Labor cost is the money that you pay people that are actually helping you to do it. But there's a problem with this labor cost. The problem with labor cost is that so many people think that because they are the ones sewing the clothes, because they are the one making the outfits, they are not supposed to charge in labor cost. Whether you are the one sewing it, whether you are hiring somebody to sew it, labor cost must enter into your pricing. What do I mean by that? If, for example, you want to sew this t-shirt for me, for example, and then the material cost is, let's say, 10,000, and then the labor, someone says that the cost of sewing this thing, to sit down, stitch it, cut it, stitch it, and iron it, and then give to you or give to the client is going to cost like 5,000. That is what? 15,000. So you're going to pay that person 5,000. Right? Now, let's say, for example, there's nobody, you're doing it yourself. That same money that you're supposed to pay someone to do it, you are still going to add it in the price. Don't say, oh, because I don't have anybody that I'm paying directly, I should not charge it in. No. Whether you have someone that you're paying directly to or not, you're actually going to add particular one to it, right? So that is it about labor cost. So stop leaving yourself when you are adding your pricing. Now, the last but not the least is what I call miscellaneous cost or miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous cost is, let's say for example, you're making a dress and all of a sudden the zip has issue. Now you need to go back to the market to get another zip. You have to transport yourself to the market, right? So that market that you're transporting yourself to, the money is supposed to come from the outfit that you're making. That is what we call miscellaneous cost, which is the cost of you going to the market, the cost of you suddenly needing to do something. You are working and then all of a sudden your machine stops sewing and you have to call someone to come and repair it immediately. That is miscellaneous cost. You need to add all of those things there. So now that you have known all the things that you're supposed to factor into a dress that you are making, let me now tell you how to price your dresses correctly. Now, if someone wants to sew a dress from you, if you are selling a ready-to-wear piece, you are going to sit down, calculate the material cost, all the things that you bought, all the things that the fabric, the zip, the everything, you calculate it. Let's say it's 10,000, and then whether you are the one sewing it or someone is sewing it for you, you add the labor cost. If you think that for me to make this t-shirt for someone, I'm going to charge the person 10,000, you add it. So labor cost plus material cost is what? 20,000. Then the next one is what we call indirect cost. It could be your rent, could be your rent, your electricity bills, your maintenance bills, all those things. So the actual way to do it, the way people do it sometimes, is that they bring 365 days, and then let's say for example your rent is 400k, you just divide it by 365 days, and then you know how much that you're actually supposed to keep aside a day. So let's say for example every day you're supposed to keep 2,000 naira, then you calculate how many days is it going to take me to make this dress. 3 days. So what that means is that your indirect cost in this particular thing is what? 6,000 naira. You add it to the one that we have. So if you add material cost, indirect cost, labor cost, is now giving us what? 26,000. Then the last is your miscellaneous. Miscellaneous could be, you need to go to the market and quickly get something you forgot, or you need to transport yourself and all of that. Now, let's say, for example, your miscellaneous cost is like 4,000. So right now we have what? 30,000 naira as our cost. So have you seen the way we have cost everything into it? So now that you have 30,000 naira as your cost, including the whole things that we mentioned, you are now going to add what? You are now going to add your profit, right? Now, the problem is that so many people at this point, they just say, oh, okay, profit. They now add extra 10,000. No, it does not work like that. Whatever you have as your actual cost of producing a dress, the least that you can do is to times it by 3. So let's say that all these costs that we have calculated is 30,000. You're actually supposed to times it by 3. If you times it by 3, it's going to give you 90,000 naira. So 90,000 naira is the amount of money that you're actually supposed to charge for a dress. Now, let me explain. 90,000 naira is that you divided it by 3, right? That is 90k. 30,000 is for the cost of production. All these material costs, labor costs, direct costs, indirect costs, miscellaneous costs, all of them are under what? Production cost, right? And then we have the second one, which is what? The direct cost, or the money that you're actually supposed to invest back into your business, right? This is the money that you're actually supposed to keep aside for buying new tools, buying new equipment, repainting your shop, changing your machine, buying a new foot, maintaining your appliances, your machines, and all of that. That is what the second 30,000 naira is supposed to do. It is from that 30,000 naira, the second one, which is making it to 60k, that you're actually supposed to get money, that you're supposed to save for the business. I'm not talking about personal savings. This is the money that you're actually supposed to save for your business. You can say, oh, okay, let me use 20,000 naira, buy 1 or 2 for the shop, maintain the machine and all of those things. Then I'm going to save 10,000 naira as my business savings, right? Now, the remaining 30,000 naira is now your profit for the work that you are doing. I hope this is making sense. 30,000 naira is now your money as the business owner, because guess what? If you have to make that dress for 3 days, you're going to eat food. You can get sick. Are you not going to treat yourself? So this thing I'm telling you is not what I want to tell you. It is the standard of running a fashion business. It is a standard. So that 30,000 naira is now your own. This is where you, as a business owner, as a self-employed, as a fashion designer, as a tailor, you are now doing your personal expenses. Personal expenses like you got home, or you are going home, you saw this shoe, you like it, you buy it. That is where you do it from, which is the last 30,000. So are you seeing the way I'm able to break all these things down? If you didn't get it, start afresh and listen to this video again. Because if, let's say, for example, the cost of production, the way we have calculated it is 30,000, and you tell the client that you are using 45k to make the clothes, are you now seeing that you're not going to have money left? If anything spoils in your shop around that time, and you use that money to buy it, you've already taken money from your profit and from the money that you're supposed to keep for your business, which is exactly why you can actually run a fashion brand for 3 years and you don't have any substantial growth. You don't move from this level to the next level, because the cost that you are actually supposed to charge, the amount of money that you're supposed to charge for a client, you are not charging it. That is why you can be sewing every day. Money is coming in and it's going out. It's going out because you don't won't charge enough to have something remaining by the time that you are done. So now that you are finished listening to this video, I hope that from today going forward, you are not going to charge less again. And then if there's any tailor around you, you can share this video to her, or of course you can just repost it so that other tailors can get to see it, right?